The new ChatGPT Images 2.0 and Google's Nano Banana Pro are both claiming a huge leap forward in AI image generation, but here's the real question. Which one actually creates better images for marketers to make ads? Or business owners, like if you're making your own ads, which one actually creates better images for marketers, business owners, creators, and advertisers? Because it is one thing to make cool looking picture, it is another thing entirely to make an image with accurate text, strong branding, clean composition, useful edits, and something you could actually put into an ad. In this video, I'm going to compare ChatGPT Images 2.0, the new image generation model available with OpenAI versus Nano Banana Pro from Google. Image quality, text accuracy, prompt following, brand consistency, editing control, speed, and practical marketing case uses. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you which one I would use depending on the job, and we're going to run a test on a more complex prompt in both models. My name is Chris Blakeman, and I run Acceleration Enterprises, where we help businesses generate leads, paid advertising, creative strategy, and AI-powered marketing workflows. I use tools like this through the lens of performance marketing for lead generation. Can this help create better ads, improve creative testing, save time, produce something a real business would actually use? I've spent over $1 million on advertising on the Meta platform, testing different types of creatives, frameworks, and strategies over the last 2 years, running a really robust Upwork profile where I've built out a good reputation and a large spectrum of different clients from different industries, which forced me to understand different advertising frameworks, as different frameworks work better for different industries and that sort of thing. So GPT Images 2.0 dropped on April 21st, 2026. One of the main things that OpenAI is talking about with Images 2.0 is the fact that this is a thinking model where it's going to use agentic thinking beforehand to research the framework for the image and put a little bit more thought into the structure of the image before the actual mock-up. They're saying there's greater precision and control. Images 2.0 brings an unprecedented level of specificity and fidelity to image creation. So now we're seeing 2K resolution. So 2K resolution with OpenAI's upgrade for sure. And we can see we have these like much more detailed images. There's granularity in the images. The more organic stuff has more of a look to it. Stronger across different languages. So now ChatGPT is doing better with Images 2.0 in presenting like Latin script languages, different Asian languages, Chinese, Hindi, and Korean, just to name a few. And they've given us lots of examples of that here. As a result, the model can produce outputs that more faithfully reflect the style requested rather than approximating it. So now we have much more organic looking photos where we need them. There's more context. 2K resolution makes it look more realistic. It does a lot better. You know, if you tell it you want like a manga look or a pixeled look or like an old photo like this where it was actually taken with a disposable camera maybe, or a digital camera from back in 2004. And they've expanded the aspect ratios to be wider for vertical and horizontal. So now we have like this kind of image here, which is like a landscape photo taken with an iPhone, or like this, they've got these bookmark style kind of tall images as a use case scenario. And it's a visual thought partner. So when thinking, the model takes more time, does more agentic work behind the scenes to thoroughly understand and execute the task. So this is kind of a big deal. Adding agentic thinking into it and reasoning, it's just going to produce better quality altogether for sure. So they've really detailed this with their press release. Really got to give it to ChatGPT for putting out a very detailed press release on this. You can tell they're being very competitive. Adversely, when you look at the Google release, it was in a blog, and they really just touched on a few things here. And you can see, I can scroll to the bottom of their blog on their introduction when they released Nano Banana back in November of last year. And this was a big upgrade, honestly. You know, there's a huge upgrade with attention to detail. The resolution, you can render in 4K on Nano Banana Pro, which is definitely something that you do not get with GPT. It's only rendering in 2K. So I actually asked Gemini and ChatGPT to be transparent with me and fair in comparing the two. And we can see the highlights from Google. Nano Banana has 4K enhanced, and ChatGPT is doing a 2K native. Primary logic is that ChatGPT has a thinking mode. Nano Banana uses subject reasoning. My experience is that ChatGPT Images 2.0 does a better job with reference images versus Nano Banana Pro. Nano Banana Pro still does a pretty good job, but ChatGPT seems to do it even better. 99% multi-language text accuracy is a big upgrade for 2.0. Nano Banana does have a high text accuracy, but it's prone to visual hallucinations, and that's been my experience in creating ads with Nano Banana as well. ChatGPT has really good batch consistency, up to 8 images with shared traits. So you're going to see a better consistency across a chat history. Nano Banana Pro has good identity lock for high fidelity character retention. ChatGPT can use up to 8 images for style and context. Nano Banana Pro can use up to 14 images. And we can even see that like in their blog release. Where they give an example of like adding in like 14 different little monsters here, and then all the monsters are on the couch like watching a show together. The editing style is more conversational. ChatGPT with Image 2.0, where you give it instructions. Nano Banana is more semantic. User access, Plus, Pro, and Enterprise tiers. OpenAI's Image 2.0. For Nano Banana, it's AI Plus, Pro, and Ultra subscribers have access to Nano Banana Pro. Gemini gave a pretty good breakdown. The breakdown's pretty similar in ChatGPT, honestly. As far as photorealism goes, Nano Banana is rated best in class for realism and lighting accuracy, whereas ChatGPT 2.0 might look stylized or synthetic. So it kind of depends on what you're shooting for there. The physics accuracy is good with ChatGPT, and it's even saying that Nano Banana has strong, better physics. The speed, it's often a little bit slower with ChatGPT, especially because it's using reasoning and agentic flows before. Nano Banana Pro is typically around 15 seconds on output versus 1 to 2 minutes. So this is a big difference. Nano Banana is very fast. The resolution, it's saying in 2.0 here in ChatGPT, it's up to 4K, which is a new upgrade. As far as Nano Banana Pro goes, of course, it's native 4K supported, as we know. So that is a little bit different because actually Gemini tells us that the ChatGPT 2.0 goes to 2K native. That's a little bit interesting there. The layout and design is saying it's industry leading for Image 2.0, infographics, diagrams, and that sort of thing. For Nano Banana, it's saying that for layout design and user interface, it's good, but less precise and structured layouts, which kind of makes sense actually without the reasoning behind it of the agentic support before the actual image generation. For creative reasoning, it's best in class on 2.0. And it's more of a literal interpretation of prompts for it in Nano Banana. Editing real-world photo edits, so image reference is highly realistic edits, lighting, shadows, and context for Image 2.0. Nano Banana Pro is a little bit overly stylized, and that's been my experience as well. As far as pricing goes, Google tends to be cheaper, and this is kind of similar with Gemini. Fast, like if you just need like fast LLM chats, the token usage for this kind of agentic reasoning before the image generation is going to cost more. And we can see that the token burn kind of similar actually. It looks like on the high end, there's maybe like, I don't know, a 5-cent difference in the comparison here. Basically for advertisers, Nano Banana Pro in summary is a little bit better for like production based or high quality looking stuff, you know, where ChatGPT 2.0 is going to have more of like an organic look, or like for those of you that make ugly ads, as the nomenclature goes in ad world, ChatGPT Images 2.0 is going to be better for those types of ads that look a little bit more native and kind of lay into the timeline, looking more organic, or as we say, ugly ads. It's a good choice to use ChatGPT 2.0, Images 2.0 if you're creating ads or you have text-heavy visuals. You compare it to design logic and not just like realism. Nano Banana Pro is better for photorealistic, high volume production, consistent character, or like products across the images. So if you're putting products in there, it's best for e-commerce studios, enterprise teams, and like filmmakers, for example. ChatGPT Images 2.0 is going to win when it comes to intelligence design, text layouts, creative storytelling. Nano Banana Pro is better for realism, speed, consistency, and production readiness. Personally, I like Nano Banana Pro for automation. For example, like if I onboard a new client, I have an automation within Zapier that uses Nano Banana Pro to mock up 21 different ads for my client in less than 5 minutes. So that's always really good when onboarding, to have mockups and ideas and produce a lot of ideas really fast. The strategic insight is that ChatGPT is going to be more of like a thinking tool, maybe for publishing ads as iterations off of winning ideas from Nano Banana, that were used in testing, for example, like in meta ads. And that's kind of what it comes to. So let's jump into the actual test. We're going to go ahead and do a test on an ad format called a listicle, which is kind of like a mock article, basically, that sparks somebody's interest. There's a mock publisher, and it has like some useful information, and it kind of draws in the clicks. So we're getting attention. And the listicle ad format is used in the framework of other direct response ads, and this is more of like an awareness ad or grabbing attention that you'd put into the mix. So we went ahead, as you can see here, and we came up with these different variations of listicle ads for Facebook ads, and I used my custom GPT writer to write out the framework for the ad and the full prompt. I ran this here in Nano Banana and an Image 2.0. So we can see right away the UI for the listicle is supposed to look like a smartphone. So that toolbar or the UI at the top with the time, like phone signal, Wi-Fi is there. That's really good. We'll compare that to Image 2.0. I would actually say that the difference is that Image 2.0, the UI looks a little bit more like an iPhone. And maybe that's because it's more likely maybe that somebody has an iPhone, like maybe the agent determined that. And then we got the hamburger menu on the left-hand side. I like that a lot. That's more native for like a news app. So I would say that that's like a little bit more detail that I like to have for an ugly ad or something that's supposed to sit right into the timeline and look native. It got the text down really well, and also we can see the same here in Nano Banana. I would say that this text looks a little bit more produced. It doesn't look as native. ChatGPT did a really good job pulling text fonts in that are better suited for a headline, subhead, and then the actual body of the article. It's more differential. This looks more uniform in Nano Banana. So I like this a lot more. I like the Image 2.0 a lot more for this type of ad, for the attention to detail that we get here. The editing tools within Nano Banana, when we open it up for editing, has this cool little drawing tool, so we could actually like mark up the design. Maybe if we wanted to test, like if somebody like took a screenshot and they like highlighted some things or circled some things, right, make it look even more ugly and more native. As far as Image 2.0 is concerned, we have the cool tool that ChatGPT's had for a little bit here, where we can highlight a certain area of the text and then go ahead and make a change. Like I went ahead and changed the mock publisher name from the, in this case, South Florida Work Injury Review to Florida Labor Commission, for example. And this is for a real client that I get leads for this client for workman's comp. Just an example, real life client, real ad. I'll actually probably use this ad and publish it, and we'll see how it goes, because I do like this one better. There we have it on the test. I would say that for advertising, Images 2.0 is going to give us something that's a little bit better. I think there's a little bit better. I think the agentic reasoning is better. It totally makes sense to bring in agentic reasoning before the actual design generation. It's looking really good. So here's my takeaway. ChatGPT Images 2.0 and Nano Banana Pro are both pushing AI image generation into a much more practical direction. We're moving past the phase where AI images are just interesting or weird. You know, when we look at the old example of Will Smith eating the spaghetti, for example, to Will Smith eating the spaghetti now, like with the video models, it's kind of the same thing with the with AI images. They're just getting better and better. It's really exciting. It's going to be really exciting to see where things are at, like in a year or so. You know, OpenAI notoriously is shutting down Sora. Google is still producing their tools, and Google's kind of, you know, they have more resources. They're more of a household name. So they're always, I think we're going to see a lot more competitive products and features coming out of Google for creators, marketers, and business owners. That's where this gets exciting, because the winner's not just the model that makes the most impressive demo. The winner is the one that helps you produce better creatives faster, test more ideas, and turn concepts into usable assets without needing a full design team for every single version, especially for advertisers. So my recommendation is to use ChatGPT Images 2.0 when you want a strong concept development, creative direction, visual reasoning, and help turn a rough idea into a polished visual direction. Nano Banana Pro is good when you need heavy, like text-heavy visuals, infographics, diagrams, brand consistency, and detailed image editing control. The real winner depends on your workflow, though. The takeaway here is, if you're an advertiser, frameworks are always first. The tools you use for the frameworks are really just a vehicle to get your messaging across in the most effective way. That's where you're going to find out which tool actually deserves a spot in your creative process, is really through implementation. Publishing is so important. If you're a media buyer, business owner, or just like an advertiser, nowadays more than ever, we can test ideas faster than anything else. So don't be afraid to test things. Just see what gets good impressions. What is the algorithm like before we start moving things into conversion and picking winners and that sort of thing. So if you want more practical breakdown on AI tools, advertising, and how business owners can use this technology to create better marketing, make sure to like this video, subscribe, drop a comment letting me know which one you think won, or which one you use in your business. Do you use ChatGPT 2.0? Do you use Nano Banana Pro? And then tell us why, like in your comments. Tell us which one you use and why you like it. So thanks for watching my video, and we'll see you in the next one.